The third option for creating the user interface is from the user point of view. It could look exactly the same as that we created the web server on the microcontroller itself. So in the previous example, the web server was run on the microcontroller's processor in here. But then the next option is that we make it an application that the microcontroller is using the MQTT protocol to send out the messages of the sensor values and to receive the sensor value, command signals. We use for that also the MQTT messaging. There is somewhere in the cloud service, or even in a could be also in a local server computer. There is like an IoT platform, and that IoT platform, which is like a software environment where we create the server side of our IoT applications. So in that server side, in the IoT platform, we run a NodeRED development environment, and then it is creating code which is run on top of the Node.js, and then it's creating the functions that way. And then on that NodeRED, we will develop there like a website, a web page interface for our small microcontroller. And then we could open it the same way in any device like a mobile phone in here. And then we had a series of exercises on the IBM Watson IoT. So that's introducing all these exercises, starting from exercise 0, exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3, exercise 4, exercise 5. It's about how to get the IoT platform running, or what is the whole infrastructure or architecture of the IoT system, Internet of Things system. And then on the instruction number 2, that is about the NodeRED. So you can open that one either in English or in Finnish. So now I have it open in English, and then you can open from there the PDF document. And this is explaining then that how to create a NodeRED development environment in there. So I say here in the beginning of the task number 2 that I suppose that you have earlier done the task number 1. So it's better to start from the tasks 0 and 1 and then go forward to this one. If you haven't done that one, you go just to getting started with the Watson IoT platform guide. Look for that one from the IBM Knowledge Center. They might change the place of the documentation, and it might look like different, but the same information is there. And then it is about how you get started and how you connect a device and so on. So there is a getting started guide anyway. And then you can also look for the instructions that how to start developing by using the NodeRED. So developing Watson IoT platform service by using NodeRED. That kind of document is still somewhere there. And Watson IoT Node or IBM IoT app Node and so on. These are explained in there. So these are like the nodes for the NodeRED development environment. And there is the documentation for those in that IBM website. And then how to get started. If you start developing a NodeRED application for the Watson IoT, so you go to the IBM Cloud, you go to the catalog, you go searching, not services, but you need to select that you search for software. And then you search, you can type there NodeRED, or you can just like look at the software, all categories, and go down the selection. And then there is NodeRED application. start building your next NodeRED app on IBM Cloud. So you can start from there. And then when you start by creating an app, it is really creating there in a cloud environment and working like an installation for your NodeRED. So that when you develop the code and run it, it is running it there on your cloud service. So it takes a while when you create an app. I mean, be patient and wait that it gets it created there. It takes a few minutes typically when you start creating something new on there. And then on the next page, yeah. So when you have created it, it looks like this. NodeRED device simulator. That's my NodeRED application name, and seems to be running. And from there, I click the visit app URL, and I get to the editing site. This is you just need to know that you need to click this one, visit app URL, to get there to the developer site. But that's why I have created this documentation here. And then that's how the development looks like. So that's how we start there. You get like an empty page, or if you start from your some demo application, you get a similar like this one. I suppose you have never done any development in the NodeRED. It's an graphical software development environment where you create this kind of flow diagrams. So inside these nodes, there is like a program code. And then these connections in between are forwarding the information always to the next one. And it is drawn in a way that always on the left side, there is an input, and on the right side, there is an output. And then you can connect these like this. I have, for example, from here, made the connection to that one, and the connection also to that node. And somehow in this node, you need to define the right kind of format for your information before it goes to the next node, so that this next node is capable of reading it. All the nodes you have available are listed here on the left. If you are looking for some example on how did they create some IoT application, and exactly that kind of node is not here, then you can go, and in the selection from here, you can start importing also nodes. So you can import new nodes in your NodeRED environment if those are not yet there. There is a way of importing the nodes in here. And then the node color and node symbol in here tell you that it is exactly the same node. So for example, I have here a node with that color background and an F here. And I can find it from here. It is that color background and the F here. It's a function. And I have imported into my project and given it a name. It's creating here for the MQTT messaging, the device payload. And then, for example, this one in here, this background color, and like an arrow in here, it's that one. It's a node named inject. It is only like a push button. I can create there either that I push the button in here and it's injecting once, or I can create there a timed injection that every 10 seconds it is like injecting that now start, start, start. And then, for example, every 10 seconds, then I'm creating a new payload and then giving the payload to this node, which is sent to IBM IoT platform. And this is sending the MQTT message to the IBM IoT platform then. And it's funny because it's run inside the IBM IoT platform, this NodeRED. Or I'm creating the application with this graphical interface. It's then run inside the IoT platform. And this is the way of like getting the information there, like you get your sensor values to the IBM IoT platform. Here, like getting this information from our NodeRED into the IoT platform. And this debug output payload is just that it is like printing those out in here in a debug window. And then this is like getting the information from the IBM IoT platform. So it is IBM IoT app in. So again, this background color, this symbol, so it is this one, IBM IoT, and it is an input because it has like an output in here. So the data coming from this IBM IoT platform, and then I get it to my application, and I can do some functions with that one and so on. So that's what is the NodeRED. So we develop our program by like connecting these nodes, and especially the function nodes we need to program, and all the other nodes where we need to put there some parameters. In here I have on the next page like examples, or actually I have opened here all the nodes in here on this function or this application. So I'm just telling here send data, giving a true value, inject once after every 0.1 second. No, I haven't selected it. It's only repeating is none. Name is send data. So that's why its name is send data. There is no repeating. So I need to push this button here. Click, click, click for testing that everything works. And then when I'm happy that everything works, I can put here, for example, that it is injecting once after 30 seconds. And then it is every 30 seconds sending new information to the IBM IoT platform. I'm playing here like I'm two different devices. No, I'm just playing the same device. You see, I'm here defining what is the device I'm sending the information. Like you remember from creating the device in the IoT platform. So there is a device type. So this is my device MAA9, and device ID is device MAA91. And it's in a JSON format. The data is whatever, because it will be replaced by the data coming from the device payload here. And then I still need to open from here a definition page where I put the application key and so on. So this is like an application contacting to the IoT platform, and I need to have an application key there to get it working and so on. So there is my application key, which is a secret key like a password, and so on. And then I get this application making a contact to my IoT platform. Then the device payload I create in here. So it's a message with JSON format, name is Timo, and so on. And I just, when I push the button here, there is a delay 5 seconds and delay 10 seconds, that I can see that 2 different messages are going out. That's how this is programmed. Now I have an application which is sending data to the IBM IoT platform. And then, okay, there is how to get the keys, the application key, that it has the, then there is an update string coming from that device, because we send a device message with this application. Yep, and you're also receiving something from there. And then, okay, then there is just one. If you can't get the connection, there is some advice that how to get it working again. And yeah, that was the end of the how to get it working again. What else? But anyway, that was how to get it. There are just development tasks that the students need to do if they complete this exercise. So yeah, okay. There was also a code for the microcontroller. So for creating an no, this is the, yeah, okay, yeah. If you haven't, if you are, you can create your own device in this NodeRED application by creating there like a greenhouse measurement. In my, there is a, so growing some vegetables in greenhouse 1, greenhouse 2, greenhouse 3, and then sending some temperature information, whatever. That's done as a simulation then inside the NodeRED. And then, yeah, there is, you need to create an application here, which is then doing something according to these sensor values and whatever. But that's how you develop those NodeRED applications in there.